Hello. So in this session, I want to look at something quite specific about BSL in relation to how an interpreter voices over what they see in BSL, and just wanted to give some clarification around that. And this is going to be looking at how somebody signs. And now there's signing, and then there's English, and I want to explain how that works. So in sign language, you have tone. So when somebody signs, they can express happiness, or they can express something quite a firm way, or they might be addressing something quite serious, like in business. So again, they can express happiness or humor or anger or what different range of emotions, and that can be seen in their facial expressions. And what an interpreter would do is reflect that tone based on what they see in the language. So what's really important for you as a hearing person is just for you to consider how you use tone. So you use tone in your speech to reflect these things. You would know from that someone's tone whether they're happy, whether they're sad or stressed, and so you'll be able to identify that from the various types of tone that you're hearing from when someone is speaking. Now it's like that with a deaf person. Now, unfortunately, when hearing people look at deaf people signing, they they think they're angry because of the way they're signing, but actually they might just be passionate about a topic and want to get something quite interesting across. But the perspective on what that looks like can be quite different to a hearing person. Now, when a deaf person's with an interpreter, there's still a misunderstanding, even though an interpreter is voicing over that tone in how a deaf person's expressing themselves. A deaf person can still come across as being quite angry. Now, in BSL is a very expressionate language. It can express real emotion through the body language that somebody uses, and that's quite key to the language. So I'm hoping that's going to help you just understand that and how that comes across. Now, with English, written English, sorry, just before I say that, it's worth just saying that there is no written form of BSL. It's a visual language. And so for some deaf people, if they have had a limited educational experience, they might struggle with sign language. So, like before, I mentioned that the grammar of BSL is different. So it might be your name what instead of what is your name, and that might be how some deaf people might write down those types of things. Now, because I had sign language, I had good education, I was able to understand the differences between the languages. So can write down things like what is your name. I'm able to do that. But that will really be dependent on the deaf person's background, their schooling, the input from their parents. Now, with regards to English, as a deaf person, my English is actually okay. So I will type something out and think it's okay before I send it off. But then it's received by the hearing person, and the hearing person reads it and thinks, gosh, that's quite a harsh tone. Or it's coming across as quite angry. So the perspectives on the use of English is different. I might feel it's okay, and I feel like I've reflected it appropriately, but it comes across as being too hard. So what I will do is often ask the interpreter to read over my English and to tweak it, and often it's a very minor tweak just to soften the use of English, which I just don't have that level of insight into. And I just so when you receive something and it feels quite harsh, just maybe give it a second thought that that might not be the original intent by me or by a deaf person when they're typing to you. And it's quite a sensitive area, this, but quite key for hearing people to be aware of that there is a difference in how language is being used. Now, I'm not with an interpreter every day. I may have an interpreter once or twice a week, depending on the given week. And if I don't have an interpreter with me, I'm having to try my best to compose an email in an appropriate way to be received by a hearing person. And sometimes I might get a response, which is great, and sometimes I may not get a response, and I'm left feeling like, oh, has that been misread, that email? Because I tried my best to convey that in the right way. So I'm hoping that's helped your understanding on this. So thank you for watching. Farewell for now.